At this time, I'd like to call the 28 October 2024 Jackson County Commission meeting to order. I'd like to say thanks for everyone being here. We have a number of items on the agenda tonight in our new business, as well as several items in our work session. Also, I do believe we have a speaker tonight, and we do have an award to recognize length of service with Jackson County tonight. So at this time, I'd like Mr. Hemrick, our county administrator, please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Commissioner Gully.
Present.
Commissioner Kimmer.
Present.
Commissioner Buckner. Commissioner McBride.
We do have a quorum. Since I'm here, it does make a quorum for the session tonight. So I'd like to say thanks. At this time, I'd like everyone to please stand and ask Mr. Porter, our county attorney, to please offer our invocation, and Commissioner Kimmer to please lead our pledge of allegiance.
God, our Father in heaven, we are truly blessed to live in this wonderful country and this beautiful county. As we approach the time for election of officials who will govern us, God, we just pray for guidance. We pray for discernment as we make the decisions. And God, we are so blessed. We're so thankful that we are able to make these decisions for ourselves, to vote for those that will govern us in the next several years. So God, we're thankful for these blessings. We're thankful for the freedoms that we have as Americans and residents of this wonderful county. We're thankful for all of those that serve us in a public way in so many different ways. So God, we're thankful for our blessings. We pray you watch over us and guide us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda for tonight's meeting is in your packet. As I said, it has a number of items in new business, and we do have several areas to discuss in our work session. We will later in the meeting go into an executive session to discuss potential litigation and some potential negotiation. With that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for our October 28, 2024 Jackson County Commission meeting?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We do have an award for recognition of term of service to present tonight, so if I could get the commissioners to join me. Down front. And Sheriff, if you would join us, please. How you doing?
How you doing, Mr.
We're doing great. This evening, we're recognizing John McCrary for his dedicated service to the citizens of Jackson County. He has been with our Sheriff's Department for 20 years now. Started off as a patrol deputy in 2004, and was promoted to patrol sergeant in 2015. And in 2018, he took on the role of patrol lieutenant for our Sheriff's Department. And in 2021, he moved over to investigation as an investigation lieutenant. So tremendous service to Jackson County, tremendous dedication to us, and we just want to recognize your service and say thank you for that. So we have a certificate of recognition, and it is awarded. This award is given to John McCrary in appreciation for your 20 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Jackson County and the Jackson County Commission. It's presented on this, the 28th day of October 2024. On behalf of all of our commissioners and for all of us that work here and the citizens, I'd like to say thank you for the great work you have done for us.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have a sign-in sheet for speaker, please? So we do have a speaker tonight, Mr. Bailey.
Yes, sir.
If I could get you, I think we have the mic on.
Jonathan, you make sure I turn that mic on. I know it's better, I forget if I hit on.
Mr. Bailey, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. It's just to make sure we have that information for the record. If you would state your name, please.
Larry Bailey.
And your address, please.
It's 84 Winfield Drive in Scottsboro.
Okay, thank you, sir. And are you representing yourself or an organization?
I'm representing the Arc of Jackson County.
Okay, sir. With that, I'll give you 5 minutes and turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. As I said, I'm here on behalf of the Arc of Jackson County. I'm president of the board of directors there. We have some other board members and folks sitting on the back row back there that I'm sure many of you know. We serve people, for those of you who don't know what we do, we serve people who have intellectual and other developmental disabilities, a group of people that used to be overlooked, but we have found ways to find not what they can't do, but all the things that they can do. And they're an exciting bunch of people to be around and be associated with. Our organization, we employ, these are just some facts that I thought you might want to know. We employ 37 employees. We serve 23 clients that fit the category I just described. And we spend time with them in the community after we pick them up. We have 5 buses. We pick them up 5 days a week on buses. We operate 6 buses and 3 vans all across Jackson County to go and pick these folks up. A couple years ago, the state required us to no longer bring them in for training at our facility, but to bring them in and then take them out into the community to have them involved with other folks in the community. So we carry them out 3 to a bus with 1 driver. So there'll be 4 in the group, and you'll find them at different places doing volunteer work and doing other things. We also, besides these folks, we do what's called supported employment. And we currently have 43 people working and 8 others getting ready to go to work. So we'll soon have 51 people in and around Jackson County that are working. We do this program with ADRS, which is the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services. And we provide people to help the folks learn their job, to help them train on their job, and then to follow up with them and be sure that things are going well for them on the job. We also do transition classes in the schools to help prepare people that are special needs students for future vocation choices. Right now, 2 of our buses have over 220,000 miles on them, so we're having expenses associated with keeping them up, and we've applied for 4 new buses. I'll talk about that some more in a minute. One of the reasons why I'm here is to talk about some of these things in hopes that you folks will award us some money. Our budget for this year, based on income budgeted, came up $175,482 short from what we had budgeted for, and our net loss for the year was $131,203. We just finish setting our budget for the new year, which our year, I guess, is like yours, it's October 1 to September 30th. And we're looking at a negative balance of $54,915. Our board is made up of 15 members, and we do fundraisers. That's the primary function of our board, is to do fundraisers. And the money that we raise from those fundraisers is used to repair big maintenance projects there at the buildings, like air conditioners. 3 years ago, I think we put a new roof on. These 4 new buses that we've requested, the state helps us with that, but we have to come up with our portion, and we're thinking our portion is gonna be about $40,000 as soon as we get the final approval on that, which we will need to do our fundraisers. The fundraisers we do a golf tournament, which we just completed a week or so ago. We do a luminary service up at Pine Haven Cemetery, and we also visit all of the municipal councils within the county and ask them to contribute and help us in our fundraising and raising money. We used to get an annual donation from the commission up until a few years ago, and at that point in time it stopped. And we're just asking that maybe you would get us back on that program again and help us with that. This evening, we're asking for maybe a donation of $25,000 to $30,000 to help us get through what we've got to get through. And that's, other than the fact that all these folks I've named adds up to about 126 voters plus their families that we put, and then all those jobs that we help to maintain around through the county. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Okay, let me open it up for questions and comments. Any questions? What did you say your negative balance was on your 25 budget?
Our 25 budget, the negative balance is going to be $54,915.
Okay. All right. Anyone with questions?
What was the amount of funding you did prior that you got from the county commission?
As I recall, it was around 15, I believe, a year that we would get.
And when did that stop?
It stopped, I don't know how many years ago, but I do know the county got into a financial tight. Don't think any of you guys were here at that time. And the decision was made. I'm sure it was probably a hard one, but it was, they thought they were doing what was best for the county budget.
Okay, sir. Well, this is something that we will have to look at.
Right.
Consideration of budget.
Okay.
We will take a look.
I appreciate that. And if I need to come back and answer questions, please just let me know.
We'll let you know.
And we'll be glad to do that for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, thank y'all.
Thanks
your
for the
time.
great job that you guys do. I mentioned to you earlier, I'm
Right.
with the Lions Club, and you guys have had a relationship with the Lions Club, I think, long time.
Long time
And,
relationship.
serving their program for glasses that gets distributed all over the world. The
Right.
work that you guys do.
I do have one question. You
Yes,
said
sir.
y'all had buses possibly ordered.
We have to fill out a request with the state, and we've requested 4.
And
At
you
some
said-
point within a year, they usually come back and say, all right, you've been approved, send us your portion
Right.
of the cost
So you're talking about 10 grand per bus then?
that we would have to come up with.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Well, thank you, and thanks for everyone being here tonight. Thank you very much. We certainly invite you to sit through the rest of the meeting and enjoy that, but we'll say if any time you think it's convenient for you to leave or you're ready to leave, just feel free to. So that At this point, we will move into the new business portion of our meeting. As I mentioned, we have several items on the agenda. First, in your packet are the minutes from the Jackson County Commission meeting and work session from October the 15th, 2024. I'll give you a minute to take a look at that. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the October 15, 2024 meeting and work session?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Each year, our election year, one of the responsibilities that we have is that we have to test all voting machines that go to all the precincts in Jackson County to make sure of their service and their accuracy in the role that they play for Jackson County. Each year, for at least the past number of years during an election, Mr. Mike Ashburn has been the individual that has performed that responsibility for us. And so each year, the commission funds that operation. And so we do have a quote for the testing of the Jackson County voting machines for each voting precinct in Jackson County that will serve the upcoming general election to be held on November the 5th. The amount of fund is $2,550. With that, do I have a motion to approve the quote for the voting machine custodian?
I'll make that
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second, any questions? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. We have discussed in work session and a couple of sessions, some uses of our American Rescue Plan Act funding. We have a couple to complete tonight. The first is regarding funding for the sheriff's office, and that is specifically for a boat that will be used as and to serve the sheriff's responsibilities of duties along the Tennessee River when that is required. But also it will be used at our county park as a rescue vehicle if we ever need that service. And the boat will be housed at Jackson County Park and available for all of those services. Tonight we have a resolution in our packet to authorize the expenditure of the American Rescue Plan Act funds, replacement funds for these services. And this, I will read portions of this resolution. Whereas the county has received a coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery fund award under the American Rescue Plan Act, and whereas the final rule issued by Treasury on 6 January 2022 designating these funds as revenue replacement funds, and whereas the county may use ARPA revenue replacement funds to fund government service, and whereas following the issuance of an invitation to bid consistent with Alabama competitive bid law, bids were due on Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2024. However, no bids were received. And whereas consistent with the Code of Alabama 41-1650B4, having received no bids, the Jackson County Commission requested a quote from Widowee Marine Incorporated. And whereas they submitted a quote meeting the technical and legal specifications as set forth in the invitation to bid, and whereas the county has determined that using ARPA replacement funds to cover the purchase of a patrol and rescue boat for the sheriff's department is a necessary, reasonable, and proportionate expenditure. Now therefore be it resolved by the commission, the county shall use up to $71,586 of ARPA funds designated as revenue replacement funds to facilitate the provision of these services described herein. With that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution to authorize the expenditure of ARPA funds for government services for the sheriff's office?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, to have a second?
Y'all second that.
We have a second. Any questions? If no questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Also, we had discussed in work session, the need to have a park, or at a North Sand Mountain Park, a playground for younger children. And we have proposed to allocate ARPA funds for that. In your packet is a resolution authorizing that expenditure. It is a resolution to authorize the expenditure of American Rescue Plan Act funds, revenue replacement funds for government services, and it states, whereas the county has determined that the following goods and services from the following vendors in the following amounts is a necessary, reasonable, and proportionate measure to facilitate provisions of the government services. $52,700.51 to Camel Recreation for the purchase and installation of playground equipment at the North Sand Mountain Park. And now therefore be it resolved by the commission as follows: the county shall use up to $52,751 of ARPA funds, which are hereby designated as revenue replacement funds to facilitate the provision of these government services described herein. Do I have a motion to approve and sign a resolution to authorize the expenditure of ARPA funds for government services for North Sand Mountain Park?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Previously, the commission had authorized the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the role of a revenue or pay to county employees, and then later we adjusted that to take care of the need to for retention pay for our employees. And we have made those decisions and authorizations of funds, and we have signed previous resolutions for that. With our 2025 budget, we will fund the latter 3 months of retention pay with our budget for 2025 funds. And with that, we will reallocate ARPA funds to help pay expenses that we incurred whenever we cleaned up the damage and debris as a result of the May 8th and 9th tornadoes that struck Jackson County. So this next resolution, authorized the reallocation of retention pay that had been budgeted, planned to be used for the latter 3 months of the calendar year 2024, to be reallocated to pay a portion of those expenses for the debris cleanup on those tornadoes. The resolution reads as follows: the resolution to amend the expenditure of American Rescue Plan Act revenue replacement funds from the employee payroll expense to tornado debris removal expense. And it states, whereas by way of resolution 21-14 on September the 27th, 2021, the commission approved the allocation and use of ARPA funds to provide premium pay in the amount of 75 cents per hour to certain eligible employees to address the impacts of performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency. And whereas due to the expiration of the COVID-19 public health emergency pursuant to resolution 2308 dated April 19, 2023, the commission determined that the additional pay previously authorized by the commission as premium pay for these workers has also served as an important tool in the retention and recruitment of employees in employee classifications that currently qualify for premium pay, and elected to continue the additional 75 cents per hour to certain eligible employees as a recruitment and retention tool. And whereas during the fiscal year 2025 budgeting process, the commission elected to build this 75 cents per hour increase for certain eligible employees as part of the regular payroll. And whereas for administrative purposes, the commission has determined that it would be prudent to pay the increased recruitment and retention costs described herein using only legally available funds, and to divert funds to another need of the county. Whereas as a result of damage due to the May 8th and May 9th, 2024 tornadoes, the commission incurred certain debris removal costs. And whereas the commission has determined that using a portion of these ARPA funds to cover expenses occurred due to the tornado damage is a reasonable and necessary use of these funds. And whereas the county has procured the debris removal services in compliance with the Alabama competitive bid law and federal standards. Now therefore be it resolved by the commission as follows. The commission hereby allocates up to $75,867.77 of ARPA funds so designated as revenue replacement funds to cover costs incurred by the county for debris removal services. With that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution to amend the expenditure of ARPA funds from employee payroll expense to tornado debris removal?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions, comments? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Last item in our new business portion of the tonight's session is a motion to award the bid for waterproofing at the Jackson County Jail. This time I'd like to turn it over to Deputy Chief Corrections Deputy Engineer. So in your packet, and I'll do that just so that you can answer any questions that may have. This didn't have to go out to bid, state bid law. We did solicit, we got 3 bids that came in. One bid was slightly less expensive than the bid we're proposing tonight, but whenever we went through the process of reviewing the bid to certify compliance with the requirements of the documents as well as the waterproofing specifications, we found the lower bid to be non-compliant in a number of areas. So tonight we're recommending awarding the bid to Midwest Maintenance Incorporated for a total cost of $185,871. It covers the masonry tuck point, cleaning the masonry facade, sealing the facade, removing and replacing joints, sealants, installing gutters and downspouts, and brick rebuild allowance is covered in this bid. You see as a second sheet the bid compliance review for this bid. That we're fully compliant with the required documents and with the specifications of the bid package. And I believe, if I could ask, we had budgeted originally for this amount, for this activity, 400. And this bid came in at $185,000 as bid. So with that, do I have a motion to award the bid for waterproofing at the Jackson County Jail to, Midwest Maintenance Incorporated?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All good? All ayes?
I see.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. With that, we'll move into, that's the last item in our new business portion of the agenda. We'll move into work session. Angie?
Rocky's gonna
Okay.
go
Rocky?
as well.
Okay, good.
I'll be happy to answer any
We are,
questions.
there is on this item is a budget amendment, using the jail's, cash balance for use of additional, work.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so we do have a request for funds from cash balance in the amount of $300,000. This is the request for
Yes.
that amount to be amended.
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Chairman, Commissioner. So what you'll see in front of you is a list of items that weren't emergency purchases, but because of budgeting issues throughout the last few years, we haven't asked for these things. But now that we have that money available that they have gotten from the state for keeping state inmates, transporting state inmates, and that money has come in fairly regular by the good hard work of our jail staff, we're asking that you'd approve us to purchase these items with some of that money. There's still quite a bit more money left for that. But if there's any specific questions you have about anything, let me know. One thing you don't see is an amount on to put the boat cover, the dock where the boat's gonna go and the lift, because we still haven't got quotes on that. And we're getting help from Doug. Doug's helping us with that. He's working on getting quotes for that now.
Okay, so what you're requesting is that we would amend the budget to move items out of your cash balance into the jail budget to be
Yes.
expended for these items.
Yes.
But it's the jail cash balance that money currently sits.
That's correct.
Okay. So let me open it up for questions, comments.
Question I've got, you talked about the boat cover lift, the process is in order. Is that gonna be in a present slip that's there already, or is it got to be built?
Yes.
Present slip.
Okay.
It's currently uncovered.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're familiar with where the gas tanks are there's two open slips there. We're
Right.
gonna provide one of them to us
And you'll cover it?
for a cheap rent.
Not cheap.
Once we pay for the cover and the lift.
Right, right, okay.
Okay. If there are no questions, is it okay if we put this on the next meeting's, agenda? New business
Which
agenda?
that would be November.
That will be the last meeting. Let me restate that. The next meeting that we have will be prescribed very much by law because that will be the first meeting after the election. And so we will not have our typical new business and work session. And so the next meeting would be, I believe it's the 23rd of November. It's the Monday before Thanksgiving holiday.
Should be fine.
So it'd be okay to put it on the agenda for that meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Sounds good. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is with our Revenue Commission and Commissioner Arnold. And the issue is, again, a budget amendment request.
So the current budget, of course, I have two budgets, my revenue commissioner's budget. The commission budgeted, voted to approve $65,000 in postage, and that's about what we've been running every year. We actually ran over last year because we had to send out metal plates, and we didn't foresee, I should have, but I didn't foresee that we're actually getting new God Bless America plates they've been redesigned this year, so everybody that gets God Bless America plates will get a new plate. Alabama and Auburn University plates are being redesigned, so we'll have to send those out as well. Another thing that we just didn't take into account for was we're getting a new index. This is our reappraisal year, so we get a new land study, a new index, cost index, which means everybody in the county, all 42,000 people will get, or 42,000 parcels, will get a Board of Equalization notice this week. That's by law, we have to send out. So just those things alone increases our postage drastically, and I want to address the budget, but also in a minute, I want to also let you know, I'll talk about this in a minute, but when we send those BOE, we send those God Bless America plates out to everybody who does it by mail. We were always charged at the post offices in Jackson County about $1, anywhere from $1.81 to $1.98 to send that. This now costs us $5.40 to send. So when we send your notice out, when you get your tag notice, it says if you want to do this by mail, we charge you $2. So we're charging you $2, and it's costing us $5.40. That's not counting the $1 that we spend on the envelope. So you can see that we've got a problem. Every county's got it. I'm not sure exactly what the answer is, but to address this problem, the issue first, the 65,000 that we had budgeted is not going to cover it. So I need to increase that postage budget, and it's object code 252 in our budget to 135,000. I need to add about 70,000 to that, and that's us being hopeful that we won't go over budget. But luckily, we caught this before we actually funded my budgets. My budgets operate differently than everybody else's. As we collect, because we collect on a pro rata share, we fund the budget before we pay anybody, any entity, any schools, any cities, any of the county, anybody out. So we caught this before we actually funded the budget. So if we can just amend this, it'll still fall under that pro rata share. In other words, that $135,000 will cost y'all, the county general fund, about 15%. Whereas if we wait till the end of the year and we're over that much, it just all comes out of general fund. So I would think that you would rather have $135,000, which you're responsible for 15% of, rather than just another $70,000 that you just have to cough up at the end of the year. The only other option is don't send notices. And if y'all don't want to send tag notices, that's I'd be scared to be here, but anyway. That's not something we have to do by law. We're not required to send a notice. It's a courtesy tag notice, your property tax notification that your taxes are due. It's a courtesy notice. Something we have to send, but I would highly recommend that y'all approve that we can send these out.
So let me open up for a question.
Yeah, my question goes back to the $2 that you transfer to the customer. Is that something I'm assuming that's set by state statute?
So Jackson County is kind of unique. I've looked at all the other counties. Jackson County actually has a local law, and the way it reads, it says, from time to time, as needed, the county commission may do it by just a vote of the commission. You can raise the postage anytime you want to. It also states in there that I thought was kind of rare. We charge $2 if you do it by mail. So that $2 is supposed to cover mailing this tag to you. If you just get a sticker, of course, $2 covers it, because you're looking at about $1 now, a little more to mail just a sticker. But it also states in that local law that you can, the county commission, you can choose to do whatever you want to. If you wanted to add $1 for us mailing the notice out, you have the option to do that. It reads for mailing out any kind of notice, any kind of papers. So that's something that, again, I don't really have that answer tonight. I need to address this budget item, but I highly recommend that you guys, as the county commission, and maybe in a work session, we need to look at that.
I would love to learn more about that personally, because what I'm understanding you to say is, if I elect to not get my tag and go for the convenience of you sending it to me, that we're actually incurring a cost for their convenience.
Yeah.
And so, since we don't require people to do the mail, and they obviously can come in,
Yeah.
and I'm going to choose for you to mail it to me because of the convenience of it, but it's not required.
We were, when I got elected, we were about 20%. So all the notice I send out about 20% of the people either did it by mail or online. Since then, we're way above 50%. So, 50% of the people now are doing it by mail. It's mostly online, which is the same thing as doing it by mail because you're still charged the mail fee. And people are probably not really aware. I mean, they know that they're paying that $2 convenience fee for us to mail it back to them, but they're not aware that this is costing $6.40. So the $2 is
So,
not covering that.
and something I'd like you to look at, is it something that when we send a sticker back, we're not charging them $6, $7 for the sticker cost?
That's the issue that I think we need to discuss, because if you just said, well, that's simple, just go up how much it costs, go up to $5.40, but that's not really fair to charge somebody $5.40 that's not getting a plate.
Right.
And
So, I mean,
I don't know legally how you can handle that, and I talked to our software company about it, and we could make that difference. We could fix it to where it says, okay, if you're gonna do this by mail, this is your amount, or if you're gonna do it come in, this is your amount. But the problem is we have to print that amount and send it out, so we would have to almost put different amounts on there and say, if
I
you're
got you.
requiring a plate, you gotta be charged this much. I mean, the example I use, if I buy something off Amazon or eBay or something, it has a shipping and handling, whatever I buy, I'm gonna pay how much it costs to ship, so I don't know the answer to that
So
really.
sharing all that information, is that a big deal
Sharing it with who?
with the public when you?
No, we send a notice out
Right,
anyway.
that's what I'm saying, so can you not put all that information on this? You choose this, A, B,
We can, Mr. Kimber, but you'll find people don't read it.
okay.
People don't read it. I mean, it would be hard to get it across to them. I mean, in the online, might be easier on online because they could choose,
Right.
but if you're doing it online, obviously it's gonna get mailed to you anyway, so there's really not a.
Okay.
so,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
look forward to hearing the reports then.
I do know this, that Lawrence County, I checked all the counties around, and all of them are facing the same dilemma that we have, but Lawrence County has voted to go to $3, so they charge $3, but again, that if you're just getting a sticker, I mean, $3 is kind of steep for just a sticker, and like Mr. Porter, if he has 2 vehicles, or if he has 10 vehicles, I'm charging him $2 for every vehicle, and I might put them all back in one envelope and send them back to him, so it's kind of a tough answer, but I'm sure there's some kind of solution we can come up with.
So let me let's address this in 2 areas. First of all, I think there's a request that you come back to the commission in the work session later on when you're ready. Let's have this discussion about the cost and appropriate charge for mailing. So if you would let us know, and we'll put that on the work session for future commission. This issue that you're dealing with, I think, is a pretty imminent issue, given you need to do this before the end of the year.
Yeah.
End of October.
Yes, and I do wanna be candid with this too, to let you know that we always run into this problem because of the budgets, and it's not anything anybody can help, but I send out those property tax notices in October. They go out October 1st. Well, the budget starts October 1st, so I've always got this big bill for what I've sent out in the new year. And I've talked to Mr. Hammond about this, about maybe we have done like a prepaid thing in the past with Mr. Manning. So what happens is over the years I'm carrying over, so I started off $9,000 in the hole out of that $65,000 before I even spent a dime. I already owed the postage company $9,000. So that'll, once we get that caught up and get back to paying it in the right year, that'll help with that sum too.
So the amount you're requesting to increase your budget?
$70,000. It was 65, and I need to move it to at least 135.
So it's an increase you're requesting of $70,000.
That's right. And your pro rata share of that is, it was costing the commission at $65,9750, and that'll put your share of it at $20,500.
Okay. And you need this dealt with tonight?
Please, yeah.
Okay.
If not, there's no dealing with it. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion to set aside the rules to approve Revenue Commission budget amendment?
Make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve amending the Revenue Commission FY 2025 budget with an increase of $70,000 for the purpose of postage? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you very much.
And I'll get back with you, I've gotta go to another meeting, but y'all call me, come out of office if you wanna discuss the,
Yeah.
and I'll print that local law out. I think I may have given it to Mr. Porter, but I'll get it to him again.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Next on the agenda is commission. We're approaching the holiday season. Our holidays for Thanksgiving is already approved, but every year as we get to looking at Christmas and New Year's, we make an additional day. This year, Christmas and New Year's both fall on Wednesday of the week, Christmas week and New Year's week. And so the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve is on that obvious preceding Tuesday. We have approved Christmas as a state and a county holiday. And so we need to take some action tonight regarding, I'm proposing that for Christmas that we also award Christmas Eve as a county holiday. And I'm proposing that we award New Year's Eve as a county holiday. I have checked with the city of Scottsboro. They have approved both of those days as city holidays. So yes, I'll open it up for discussion. So that's just a recommendation that, for the holiday season.
My only concern, I hate that Jeff has left, is anything that would need to be in before the end of the year, and so that, taking away that last business day.
They generally waive the fees on those, do they not, Mr. Porter?
Generally, they do.
And they
We get
extend,
paid by the second.
and they extend to the second as, yeah, you're right. They waive late fees and collect until the second.
So we are gonna be open on Thursday and Friday to meet that?
Yes.
Okay. That's my only, I mean, I want our workers to be home with their families, but I don't want anybody punished for us not being open.
Okay.
That'd be the 26th and 7th as well. I mean, we'll be open December.
So, agreement about New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. I think it would benefit everybody if we wait until the next meeting. We're gonna be at the end of November. Is that soon enough? Is that okay to wait until then to approve it on that last meeting in November?
I think so.
We would have enough time with December and, okay, so we'll put this on the new business agenda for that.
Should we look at Thanksgiving as well, or have a different?
Thanksgiving is already approved, that Friday of Thanksgiving and the day after, no, I'm sorry, Thursday Thanksgiving, and that Friday is a county holiday.
28, 29?
Yep. Okay, next is Public Works, a couple of items to discuss. I know we've approved our 2024 roads program. I know we've completed one of the 2024 roads. I'd like to have a discussion about setting schedule for the remainder, and I know that gets into sometime in the next year. But I'd like to discuss how we make the determination of which roads to start first. Is there a criteria we use, or do we need to set a criteria for which is how we establish that schedule for the roads that we have? So Also, in this, I'd like to have a discussion update on strip paving. I know we have been so far down about a crew in terms of total number of personnel. I think we're getting to where we're resolving that. And there's been some good strip paving work done on County Road 9, and that has turned out very well. For those of us who've been out there and seen that. So I'd like to have a discussion with that. And then the last item in Public Works is a local road safety initiative. We do have a grant from, I think, U.S. Department of Transportation for that. So Jonathan, let me turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I'll start with number 3, if I may. As the Chairman alluded to, the Local Road Safety Initiative Program is a statewide competitive grant, and selection is made by committee. So, similar to last year, we were made an award on these projects that we had submitted, and the pre-construction conference was held last week for that project. Somewhat similar are the selections that were made for this year. The breakdown for estimated cost is probably of your quick interest, and it's located on page 1. You'll see the estimated cost of the projects, and it is 2 bridge rehabilitation projects for rail. So it's bridge, rail, retrofit, and in treatments. The details are listed on the first page also, but you'll see a 90-10 split for estimated cost. For the county's responsibility to be $20,149.58. On the very last pages of this information are photos of the 2 project sites, labeled Site 1 and Site 2. Site 1 is County Road 74, and you can see the bridge rail in the photo that this project would address. Very similar is the bridge rail on Site 2, County Road 91, over Long Island Creek. So this project is set to target the deteriorated bridge rail that is non-compliant, non-spec rail, and provide new rail and treatments for both of those bridges. In the following pages, beyond the first and second, you'll find an agreement, and it's the standard outline agreement for these funds, but you'll see signature pages required for the administrator and the chairman, as well as ALDOT and the governor, but also a resolution is included in the pages that follow. May I answer any questions regarding this?
Any questions, comments?
Good work on
Okay. Can we do this in our next meeting that we will have new business items?
Yes, sir.
So we can wait for them to get this done. That gives everybody a chance to take a look at this. I appreciate the work you guys are doing, applying for these grants, and
Thank you.
making a difference for our roads.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. I would like to recognize ALDOT and their willingness to invest in Jackson County. So please express any gratitude if you have any opportunity to them for allowing this.
Okay. Item 1.
Yeah, so I guess it's a discussion was the intention of these items being added. So however you'd like this to go, be happy to.
Well, let me open up, and the reason I put it on the schedule. Whenever we approve roads, we announce that, and it gets out to the community, to the county. And you have a lot of expectation from the residents about their road since it's been announced for I believe that it's important for us from now on, as we approve the county road program, an annual county road program, that we put a schedule to it. I don't mean a schedule of this day to this day we're gonna do this road. I believe it is, as we get into the road paving season, which roads in what order we're gonna do roads. So people can understand that, and then we can update people as we go and proceed through the schedule of roads, so that they know where they are. And they don't expect then with that, you guys are gonna be out there immediately paving that road. It's an understanding of how we proceed with that. I also believe that as we then try to set that schedule, what, do we want to have a set of criteria plus your knowledge of road conditions and safety and all of that, of how we do that? Do we set criteria based upon the amount of traffic on the road, the number of residences on the road, school buses on the road, safety issues on the road? How do we set that as we do that, so that we have an understanding? I don't know that those are the right criteria. I'm just saying, as we, in the future, I believe as we approve road programs and start with this one, that we put a schedule together, say, we're gonna do this one, through this one. First road that we're gonna try to do, and then as we proceed through that, this is the order of roads that we're gonna try to do. I understand you're dealing with laydown areas where you're laying down your materials and all of that. So I understand all that needs to come into play, but I would like us in the future to sort of put a schedule of order of roads. That's just my thought, and that's just open for the commission to discuss, so. Do you have any questions, comments, or Jonathan, your thoughts?
Well, just, a little bit, I guess, guidance that I'll offer up. So if we are in a 10 to 15 mile program, then there is a possibility that all the work can get done in a year's time, most likely. Obviously, there are a lot of factors that affect that. If we get into programs like the past, where we're at a 23, 24, 25 mile program, carryover should be anticipated, unless we look at alternate ways of accomplishing more reclamation. So a lot of the factors that affect that obviously are condition of the roads that are being resurfaced. If we are in a resurfacing state versus a reclamation resurfacing state. All of the roads on this list are reclamation worthy. So my point in that is, if we are in a list and a program like this, it's reasonable to expect us to accomplish that in 1 year's time. So I think that is a great idea, that if we have a large list, we get some direction from you all on which ones you want us to attack first, with the understanding that it all may not get done this year and it's going to carry over this year. So that being said, we anticipate being able to complete all this. However, we're happy to start wherever you would like.
All right, so to me, to discuss the schedule, so where are we on the schedule? What is being currently worked on and what will be worked on before it's shut down for the 24
So in order to accomplish this, we will work on this constantly. Now, obviously paving don't occur constantly.
Yes, sir.
So we get into a reclamation process and a reclaimed road that carries over until May, when paving can resume. So that may be, where we want to place the most thought on which roads will be best to weather over the winter, or which ones are your preference to be prepped but not paved. Did I answer your question?
No. So what roads are being paved and what is left to be paved out of the 24 list?
The only roads that have been completed are County Road 175.
Okay.
That crew right now is doing dirt road maintenance once that was completed. The intention on that crew is to turn to 38. The reason they're working dirt roads right now is because the list is long. But the cross drains have to go into County Road 38. Then we need that crew on County Road 38 doing the road prep and this upper section that's going to be paved before that road can be paved. Then the intention is to take them and turn them back onto this list. or as soon as we have direction on where you'd like us to
So
start.
what is the timeline on the work on 38?
We're looking at a couple of weeks. We've had trouble out of equipment on a hammer. So it depends on what we encounter on those cross drains. So like a couple more weeks of cross drains, most likely, and then we'll be ready for road work.
We're talking chip seal list, right?
We're talking about where to start on the chip seal list
Right.
tonight, yes, sir.
So what are paving conditions? When can you chip seal a road?
May until October.
And what makes May till October
It's,
for the laying,
it's seasonal limitations by specification.
which are?
May until October.
What makes May and October optimal to
It's,
pave?
it's specified in the specification. So it's temperature, it's nighttime temperature
Thank
predominantly.
you. So nighttime temperature, which has to stay above what?
It just depends. I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. So it's an emulsion asphalt that's applied, so there's water obviously mixed with that. So it could be water content in the emulsion, it could be water content on the aggregate, it could be existing surface on the laydown. I mean, there's just a lot of factors that affect what could negatively affect a chip seal at that time of year.
So have the last 30 days been good for paving?
Oh, yeah, this weather, we could say October is out the window. I mean, there's obviously some, but having said that, you know, it's 50s in some places and then 40s, and so you don't get the same behavior out of things as you do outside of that.
So how have we performed in October if it's been a good month to pave?
Can you say that again?
How have we as pavers performed in October if it's been a good month to pave in?
So we had a large push to complete 175 by October. So we completed it the 1st of October, and we haven't paved anything since.
Why?
Well, because it's because it's the end of the season by specification, and that was the last road we were trying to get that ready. We completed all of last year, and we still had some time left, so we went for 175, and we were able to complete those 3 miles.
So knowing we can't pave again till May, I mean, why do we
Yes.
not take advantage of these last 30 days, which have been optimal?
Are you talking about as far as prepping a roadway to pave?
I'm talking about paving roads, so
We could-
however you want to define it.
We could have moved to another one of these roads and prepped it perhaps versus doing the dirt road maintenance, but we're beyond October, so please remember that we contract the paving portion. So he goes by specification also. So beyond October, it's not likely for him to pave a roadway.
Okay.
So you paved 175 during October.
Right at the very 1st of October.
And how long a section of road is that?
3 miles.
So we've paved 3 miles. Okay.
Well, I think you're saying you completed the remainder of last year's paving list prior to October for this year? Is that what you're saying?
All of last year and one project on this year's at October.
So I guess where I'm trying to go here with this discussion is, we're gonna have next year, the 24 coming up in the next paving season, is what we're gonna do. How do we determine some criteria or our thoughts on what to bring back to us in order of schedule, which roads you wanna do first, which road you wanna do last? And that order of schedule so that we have that. And I do think, as I said before, and I know I'm repeating myself, I think when we establish an annual road program, we ought to also look at the schedule that we're going to pay in, just so that we have that. So I think that it is your recommendation that comes back, but if you were to set a set of criteria on how you would determine those roads, I threw out my list, which we does have some criteria, and it really is gonna be your recommendation, but those criteria are for consideration. If you got a road that's got, 2 miles and I'm just picking numbers, 2 miles and 5 houses on it versus 2 miles and 50 houses on it, seems like you pay 2 miles for 50 houses. I'm just throwing a thought out for you. Probably your first consideration is safety. You recognize that we got a safety condition on the road that needs to be dealt with. School buses, school bus routes. Most roads in the county may be school bus routes, but considering that, roads that are not and those that are. I'm just trying to get to, as we establish our road programs for annual road programs in the future, we set the roads and we set the order of work on the roads. So if we wanna, you think about that and come back to us with criteria that you would use, I don't care how we do this, but I do think I'd like to see us set a schedule for 24, and in the future, we have a schedule for every road program we put together in the road program. One last comment I understand the issue of 10 to 15 miles versus 25, 30 miles, and sometimes we've given it. That's putting a lot of roads on you. You know, if we look at the future and if we could ever get ourselves in a position to be able to pave consistently road quantities of that nature, we're gonna have to make some adjustments in what you have in the way of crews and those kind of things, I believe, to do that. That's another conversation that we need to also think about that. We will never catch up on roads paving even 25 miles of roads per year. At 1,100 miles, I keep using the number 1,100 miles of local roads in Jackson County. We'll never put you in a position to be able to get ahead of the lifespan of the road. So we got some other work to do. So if I could just, a later session that we would have, come back with a recommendation of what the criteria are you would use for selecting roads, and look at our 24 road program and come back to us and just offer what you think ought to be the order of roads that we would use whenever we get into the next paving system.
So just to be clear, we don't need to start until we get this ironed out, correct?
Well, I don't think you can start if you're a contractor for paving, it's not going.
Preparing the roads. So paving don't take that long, just preparing the roads. It takes the
I
time.
don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether there's some roads that you could prepare. What I get concerned about is preparing a road that is, let's say, a mountain road, that whenever you prepare it and we get torrential rains in the winter, you're re-preparing it 4, 5, 6 times. And sometimes you're gonna have to do that because of the wash on the road. There may be a road that you think is not impacted that bad, and do a prep on it so that it's immediately ready to go with the next season. Guys, I'm just throwing out my thoughts, I don't know.
I'll just offer, in order to achieve the mileage that I mentioned, we have to work continuously throughout the year. So that's kind of where I was headed in that first discussion. There are gonna be roads that are prepared and we work on, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better, and that hangs out during the winter months until May. So I think that is important that we recognize that, and that you guys are aware of that when we make these selections. But I just wanna be clear, because after this dirt road work's done, and 38, as soon as we can get that pavement ready for pavement, we need to be working on this list to achieve that for the course of the year.
So let's say with the November meeting, you come back with a recommended order of paving and prep work?
Sure.
Can you do that?
We can.
Is that okay? All right. Could you give us just an update of where you think you are on strip paving, and is there anything that we can do for the rest of the year, or is that, and are you about the point of having your crew filled out?
We do appreciate the support on getting refilled, and as of this week, we think we'll have all the folks in from those vacancies that have been filled. We did have some strip paving work completed on 9, and we had more to do, and we had an equipment breakdown on the rock spreader. So That's in the computer section of the operating module, so that's being repaired. But, as Mr. Buckner alluded to, if we have temps like this, that continue, perhaps short sections are possible, if our equipment's filled.
Okay. Even throughout the year, you could have a week of good temperatures. You could-
Throughout the year, or, even if we can see long range that we have some worm tips coming, maybe able to prep some sections. We just have to take it in smaller bites.
Okay.
But it's possible. And I will say, Mr. McBride's not here, but his selection on mine, that's really the ideal strip paving scenario. So you have a predominantly good road with a few bad spots in it. That's really the,
Yeah, I said, yeah, you proved did a good job on that. I've
Thank
read it
you.
several times recently, so. Okay, any other questions? All right,
Any update on 93?
county, I do have an update for 93. We received a notification of an amendment that was created on the scope of work change, and we're notified in that same, release that it was under review, so that was on October 10th. So, just as a reminder, when we submitted your approval of the repair, we also submitted a scope of work change request, a time extension request, along with our procurement documents, the repair and the geotechnical report. So they wade through all of that and take it piece by piece. Once the scope of work change request is approved, then they look at our proposal on repair, and they'll either grant a time extension or come back to us for more information, et cetera. Then it'll go into project review and probably get to the environmental things. When we start discussing their environmental concerns and working on that, that's typically the last step before we get to some type of notice to proceed from them.
yeah, quick question. I know we've submitted the invoices to FEMA. Have yeah, go ahead.
We have, the Public Works Department has submitted a invoice for these projects, the County Road 38 and 92 projects. Not to my knowledge, have we received that payment, but I will follow up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, John. Okay, that concludes the work session, discussions. So at this time, report from the staff, county administrator.
Nothing to report.
Okay, county engineer, anything else?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. County attorney? Sheriff, anything?
All good, thank you, sir.
All right, Doug, anything from you?
All good.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, we'll go to comments from the commission. District 3, Commissioner Butler.
Yes, I just thank you for this evening and apologize for my tardiness. I would like to encourage everyone to vote. I voted today since I'm going to be out of town on election day, but just make sure you do your duty and get to the polls. Thank you.
District 2, Commissioner Kimball. District 1, Commissioner Gully.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. I'd like to just give an update on Colby Gann, our Director of Maintenance. I talked to him the end of last week, and he's got the family with him. They're doing well. The tests that he has gone through so far, they have all come back very positive. I know I mentioned this before, but he gets to go through this quite often. So far, every test is showing that there's no rejection of the heart. And last week, they were getting ready to take staples out and other things with the kidney transplant. So he's doing well. He's ready to come home. I understand he's taking quite a few pills every day at doctor's orders, but I keep reminding him, don't get ahead of the doctor, do what the doctor says, and take care of yourself. So. And again, I want to thank everybody that's been very supportive of Colby and his family through this process. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November the 13th. By law, that is the first time we can have a commission meeting after the election. And again, it is a very prescribed by law meeting that we will have. In our next Well, this time I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.